Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
A winter weather advisory going into effect for all of Metro Detroit, with rain turning into snow. With up to 8 inches of snow expected by tomorrow night, we already have more than 500 schools closed for tomorrow, including Detroit Public Schools. And
that list is expected to grow overnight. We'll keep watching that. Let's get over to Andrew, who's in for Ben tonight with what we expect. Andrew.
Well, Kimberly and Nevin, we talked about this earlier this evening at 4, 5, and 6, and everything is coming together on schedule. We've got the winter weather advisory set to go into effect tonight all the way until late tomorrow night for Detroit and all of southeast Michigan. You can see the spots of green showing up amidst blue right here. It was a mixture of rain and snow. Now it's all blue. So we're looking at snow that continues to fall throughout Detroit and southeast Michigan at a steady pace, with more on the way. You can see a lot more moisture off to our west, over to Kalamazoo, northern parts of Indiana, out towards Chicago, all set to travel over the area. There might be a few breaks here and there over the next couple of hours, but by morning, the snow will be persistent once again, as this area of low pressure continues to intensify and travel just to our south. And with it being to our south, it means we're on the cold side of the system, and so it means snowy conditions as we go through the rest of the night, especially after midnight and into the day tomorrow. Talking about snow totals, by dawn, many folks will easily see 1 to 2 inches for the start of the morning rush hour, with more to come, possibly 2 to 3 inches by noontime, but still 4 to 6 and even 8 inches when all is said and done. We'll break that down neighborhood by neighborhood with your full weather forecast coming up.
Okay, Andrew, and we'll be updating our school closing list throughout the night on clickondetroit.com, and Brandon and Kim will have weather and traffic on the 4s beginning at 4:30 a.m.
Mayor Duggan took to the stage at Flexen-Gate on Detroit's east side tonight for his State of the City address. Really a presentation where the buzzword of the night was equity, with the mayor speaking for 1 hour, no teleprompter, PowerPoint style. Mara McDonald live downtown tonight. Mara, the mayor laid out his accomplishments and what he wants to do next, and that's namely more money for more blight removal.
That's right, Devin. He made another push at the end of this address tonight to try and say, you know, our blight monies have run out. We need this blight bond. That faces an uncertain future. Take a look.
I wanted to be here today because what we have is a profound change.
Here, in this case, is Flexen-Gate, what the administration views as the first domino to fall to bring automotive jobs back to Detroit. Also key, more than 50% of its workers come from the city, an example of equity, which you heard a lot about tonight.
Do Detroiters get a real chance at our business success?
The mayor highlighting 7 key areas where the administration is focusing on equity issues, but also taking a few victory laps, especially in the overhaul of no-fault auto insurance. Duggan pushed until Lansing got it done. He's doing 8 town halls throughout the city to help Detroiters learn how to maximize their savings.
And I will never lose sight of the fact I was not elected by the people who left. I was elected by the people who stayed.
The mayor spent his final minutes pushing for more blight removal in the form of a blight bond. It died at city council last year and faces an uncertain future now.
Still a lot that needs to be worked out. I think we've come a ways now that the city will have its own demolition department, but I still think there's some things that needs to be worked out.
Back here live, Duggan also spent a lot of time talking about the importance of the census, especially for Detroiters, begging and pleading with people. You've got to fill this out. If you don't, we face the loss of federal dollars as well as representation in Congress. Devin, Kimberly, back to you.
Mara, we've also had this long-running issue, this long frustration for Detroit property owners with their inflated tax bills. Mayor had some interesting things to say about that tonight, too.
Yeah, he did. And, you know, he brought the graphs and he brought the numbers. And I think the reality, according to the mayor, is nobody disputes that people were overassessed in this city. What he's trying to say is by the time he got on the job in 2014, he cut tax assessments by 22%. He thinks it's gotten better since then. He believes that the numbers are correct where they are now. As far as recouping money from 09, 08, 10, he said it's just not a possibility.
That money's gone. Yeah. All right, Mara. Kim.
24 hours after a suspected serial killer is taken into custody, Detroit Police Chief James Craig is saying Kenyell Brown should have never been on the streets. Priya Mann is live at Providence Hospital in Southfield, where Brown was taken. And Priya, the chief is upset someone with Brown's past was a free man.
Yeah, that's right, Kim. The chief says that Brown was working as an informant for a different agency, but had multiple probation violations and should have been behind bars. Well, tonight he's in the hospital in critical condition. On Monday, he was at an adult bookstore on 8 Mile in Detroit when a janitor spotted him and called police.
He saw him, and then, he came out from in the back, pulled up the guy's picture on his phone, showed the clerk that was working, and said, "Hey, look, I really think this is who this is."
A janitor working at an adult bookstore Monday spotted the man wanted by the U.S. Marshals and DPD.
The guy heard him and went out the door and literally ran across 8 Mile. The janitor's like, "Yep, that's who it was," and he called 911.
Police have linked Kenyell Brown to 6 murders in River Rouge, Highland Park, and Detroit. The 40-year-old man had been kicked out of the adult bookstore before. This time, workers called police.
He just wanted this criminal out of here. Man was a murderer. We need to get this person off of the street.
U.S. Marshals and Detroit police have been on the hunt for Brown for weeks.
I wouldn't expect someone like that to even in state. I mean, the guy can't be in the right state of mind. You're hiding and you're going to stay in your neighborhood? Okay.
Acting on a tip from the janitor, officers started searching a neighborhood in the Detroit Oak Park border. They spotted Brown jumping fences. Only Local 4 cameras were rolling as officers swarmed a backyard and captured Brown moments after he shot himself in the head.
It's just kind of scary. We always have to have a second set of eyes around here. Always.
And the U.S. Marshals had offered a $10,000 reward for information that led to his arrest. We expect to hear more from the chief tomorrow about why Brown was on the streets to begin with. Reporting live from Southfield, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Okay, Priya. New tonight, the first U.S. military member has tested positive for the coronavirus. The U.S. military confirms a 23-year-old soldier stationed in South Korea is in self-quarantine at his off-base residence. There are now more than 80,000 cases worldwide, with the death toll more than 2,700. Today, the CDC issuing a warning to Americans that it is no longer a matter of if the outbreak reaches the U.S., but when.
The 7 leading Democratic candidates facing off in South Carolina for this being the last debate before Super Tuesday. It did not take long for things to get pretty heated. Alice Barr is in Washington with the biggest showdowns and takeaways of the night. Alice.
As the clear frontrunner, Bernie Sanders stood center stage tonight, but from the start, his rivals attacked him for leaning too far to the left.
Anybody in this room imagine moderate Republicans going over and voting for him?
The last 50 polls that have been done nationally, Mr. Bloomberg, I beat Trump 47 of those 50 times.
The candidates accusing Sanders of proposing plans he can't pay for, like Medicare for all.
So let's do some math. Senator Sanders at one point said it was going to be 40 trillion, then it was 30, then it was 17. It's an incredible shrinking price tag.
What every study out there, conservative or progressive, says Medicare for all will save money.
Also sparring over gun control.
Bernie voted 5 times against the Brady bill.
I'm the only one up here with the receipts that has actually repeatedly, while being for the assault weapon ban, won in Republican congressional districts over and over again.
Though Sanders faced the most attacks,
but I think I would make a better president than Bernie.
The stakes may be highest for Joe Biden.
I will win South Carolina.
Who's positioned himself as the strongest with voters of color.
My entire career has been wrapped up in dealing with civil rights and civil liberties.
Race, a central theme tonight ahead of the first in the South primary.
And I know that if I were black, my success would have been a lot harder to achieve.
We should have a formal commission on race to retell the story of the last 400+ years in America of African Americans.
Sparks flying tonight as each candidate fights for a path forward, though they're united on one point, denying President Trump a second term. Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, so with the Democrats in South Carolina, today Vice President Mike Pence was here in Metro Detroit, campaigning in Troy.
This president's delivered on all the promises that he made to the people of Michigan, and then some. I mean, the truth is, there's only one way you can describe the last 3 years. It's been 3 years of promises made and promises kept.
Vice President Pence also visited with the Michigan Farm Bureau in Lansing, a reminder of Michigan's primacy in this year's presidential election.
Still ahead, a nonprofit is urging airlines to eliminate fees for changing seats.
The action it's taking to make sure children always sit with their parents.
And a woman says she was just watching television on her couch when she heard a loud bang. What happened next that had her fighting to keep a strange man from getting inside her home? Jamie.
A beloved college athletic trainer.
Our forever athletic trainer, Tom Ford.
One who was known to help so many student athletes over 3 decades, now in the fight of his life.
It's a whole new ball game for me. I can't put tape on it. I can't rehabilitate it.
How Tom Ford is making every moment count while trying to change the conversation surrounding ALS. Coming up next on Local 4.
It's 4 o'clock and we're here.
But our coverage is everywhere.
And no matter the weather, bringing you special moments from across the metro area.
And trending stories you'll want to share.
We're live from Detroit. First.